showing it just wasn't worth the hassle. There had been rumours around the body, suspicious circumstances and all that, which meant the image would have been treated more like a piece of evidence than a piece of art. But by now, the dust has long settled. No one even mentions it anymore. The ancient group they called the Butchers. Especially not over here in some small museum on the outskirts of Manhattan, where every curator looks about half his age, and every photograph is accompanied by a brief wall text that reduces the image to its biographical minimum. The Butcher, by Ronan Monks, County Monaghan, 1996. The man in the photograph is thought to have belonged to a group of ritual cattle slaughterers known as the Butchers. Composed of 8 men, the group travelled the length and breadth of Ireland, practising their folkloric customs. However, around the time of the photograph, the Butchers disbanded after hundreds of years of service. Today, very little record remains of their ancient, unorthodox traditions. The buzzer sounds, and Ronan startles. He presses the button by the intercom, then hears the delivery men coming up the stairs, their heavy footsteps and easy drawl. It won't take them long to move the pictures. The museum is only a 20-minute drive across the river. Some of them will probably be half Irish, just like him. All of them will probably expect a tip. But for these final moments, the only man that matters is the one in the photograph, his shadow pooled black, his toenails curved white, in 10 tiny crescent moons. Ronan slides the metal chain and undoes the latch. This could be a mistake, he thinks. Could mean giving up a secret, buried safe for 22 years. Jesus Christ! He turns the handle, and the light comes blinding in.
Chapter 1. Una. County Cavan, January 1996. Una had no idea it would be their last farewell dinner, and anyway she was far too distracted that night by the prospect of a mouse. Outside, the barren fields lay flattened by the January cold, the kind of chill that got into your bones and under your gums. Frosty vapours rolled in to lend the borderlands a haunted disposition, as if they needed any help in that regard. Beneath the beech trees, a flock of sheep huddled close for warmth, their wool crystallising degree by falling degree, until eventually their fleeces had frozen together to form a single shivering mass, a terrified creature that might not last the night. Inside the house it wasn't much better, the cold working its way in quickly through chinks and gaps, and more slowly through the seep of plasterwork damp. But down in the kitchen, the air had been roused to such a glorious swelter it would stave off the worst of the freeze for another hour or two yet. The feast was almost ready, the pots thuddering on the boil, the oven fan sucking up delicious vapours of its own. In the middle, Una was setting the table. Not just the usual cutlery and plates, but all the fancy accoutrements given the occasion. There were coasters and placemats, napkins dug up from where they lay buried deep for the rest of the year, their pretty scalloped edges creased and slightly frayed. In the corner of one she spotted a bloom of mould, so she tried a rub of spit. It wouldn't budge. She folded the napkin and put it in her place. On the sideboard, the radio was wavering somewhere between static and the final bars of a simply read croon. Apparently Mick Hucknall was pure delighted by the very idea of coming home to you. Hearing the words, Una almost laughed at the irony. Then she thought of the bleating frozen mass outside, and this time she laughed outright. Coming home to you! She was about to share the joke with her mam, who was over by the sink looking dolled up, gorgeous in her earrings and heels. Even though the whole point of the dinner was to celebrate the fact that for one last night, none of them would be going anywhere. Her mam.